I need to blow my nose. Welcome back to the channel, you beautiful people. You join me in the office space. Today's video is going to be a Q&A, and I know what you're thinking. Very original there, mate, and I know. I impress myself at times, but I must admit I wish this was a training video, but I'm still not 100%. You might be thinking, Luke, mate, you look good. And I would say, I do appreciate it, but the reason I might look like I'm not dead and I'm talking and breathing well is because I've been hammering Lemsips and caffeine. For whatever reason, I can't shift this. On some days where I even feel good, I get back into the gym and I'm just battered straight away. Not in a good way. Not like, I've just absolutely fried myself here. As in, I do one warm-up set, buckets of sweat. Weaker than my nan. No pump, just joint ache. So no, I'm not 100%. So to get a video out, I thought I'd do a Q&A. I would say it's a festive Q&A. Merry Christmas, by the way. But zero festive questions on here. We'll keep it short and sweet. Let's get into it, but before we do, you know me, I am a videographer, a very good one, as you can tell. Lighting situation, it is currently 12 o'clock. I live in England, mate, okay? 1 minute sunny, next minute hailstorm. So lighting outside, bright, dark, don't work. Office light is on, however, I've got, what are they called? Blinds in the office. Yeah, not curtains, blinds. Little gaps, mate, okay? So if sun starts beaming in and there's like a strobe effect, that's why. You're not at the rave, you're watching a budget video. First question, I'm gonna put these on screen so I don't have to go next question, because that'll get a bit boring, mate. Should you do a fly before or after chest pressing? Both, mate. You might be thinking, what? Fly, press, fly. Nah, don't mean that, mate. When it comes down to training, I think if you're running something like an upper lower, which is what most people should be, to be fair, you should have everything on 2 rotations. So 2 rotations of upper, 2 rotations of lower. So there's variation between them. Give you a longer runway for progression. In one upper session, do the fly, then the press. Second upper, press, then fly. If you're doing a upper lower push-pull leg split, again, upper, maybe fly, then press, push, press, then fly. If you're doing a push-pull legs, you should have 2 rotations of that push session, so same thought process again. If you're doing the fly after press, to get the most out of it, ideally, do something like a cuff fly. Same movement pattern, but of course, point application is closer to the shoulder. A decrease in moment arm will allow you to expose the chest to more resistance even when it is very fatigued. So that's always a good route to go down. There's no real right or wrong. Like, let's say you've just done flies before pressing, you're still going to get a good chest over time, massive one if you've got good genetics. But if you're someone who's a bit worried about it, thinking, right, am I doing this right? Just do them both, mate. Take that approach and then you ain't got to stress about it. Do I limit caffeine intake? No, mate. I drink as much as I like. Spoken like a true addict. But in all seriousness, normal kind of working day for myself, check-ins and train, Monster during the check-ins, pre-workout before I train, that's about it. Rest days, coffee in the morning normally, whether I'm working or not. That's pretty much it, to be fair. So yeah, not much at all. One thing I would say, if you are in a growth phase and you're struggling with your appetite, but you're having very high caffeine across the day, sort it out, mate. Decrease that caffeine. Caffeine will suppress your appetite. And of course, that's not helpful in a growth phase. On the flip side of that as well, if you're someone who suffers with anxiety or like bouts of anxiety, caffeine is only going to make it worse. So do be a bit careful there. I've even noticed it, mate, where I've had a lot of work to do and I've hammered caffeine to get through it. Whoa, I get a little bit shaky. So yeah, I would strongly recommend being a bit careful when it comes down to the amount you're having. Also, just due to the fact of like being reliant on it, I say I have it every day. But yeah, do be a bit careful. I spoke to someone in the gym the other day. They just have pre-workout every time they train. And I found that mental. Like every single session is a heist in pre-workout. You got a bit of a problem. I actually think a lot of people just like pre-workout listening to tunes and they don't actually like training. That's just my theory. Have you noticed a change in the fitness industry this year? I think it's a lot more salesy, but I think there's more aggressive sales tactic used. Did I say that right? I think I did. Of course, it's always been salesy. Like me, for example, I run a coaching business. I create content for brand awareness. At the end of the day, I'm trying to grow my coaching brand and get more people on the team. That's standard, and I think a lot of people have been doing that for a lot of years, but recently I think it's just more aggressive, probably because a lot of people are using business mentors now, which think it's ridiculous 9 times out of 10. But it's very VA, cold DM kind of approach now, which I really don't rate. I've also seen some people who've had great personal brands just shift to sales. Like their content's pretty much stopped being about them. And it's pretty much, are you X type of person who wants to shred fat? And it's just that constantly. I kind of think that's resulted in them losing, how can I word it? It just seems like it's gone from like personal brand with a business to sell, 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 sell. Back to the VA thing, I think it's pretty outrageous as well. It's actually happened quite a few times where I've seen people screenshot DMs they've been sent from a coach, like offering their coaching service, and they know full well they're coached by someone else. And it probably is the VA, to be fair, but I don't think that's an excuse. I think having a VA is a weird thing to do. You're literally paying someone to pretend they're you to get people to sign up to your coaching. It just seems a bit off to me. I think coaching is a very personal thing. I think if someone's talking to who they think is you, it should be you. I don't know, maybe I'm just being a bit old school here, sound like an old man, but I do think it's weird. It's happened to me. I mean, there's been a few times where the lads in the team group chat have screenshotted and sent in a DM offering coaching, and that person knows full well I coach them. Bit off if you ask me, but I don't know if that's a VA or them. But even if it's not them and it is a VA, it's just off. Don't rate it. So yeah, in summary, sell, 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 sell this year. This one came from a private account. I screenshot these, by the way. Put these up on Instagram and screenshot them. What is up with that hairstyle? I don't know, mate. Bit of a bird's nest, isn't it? I get the sides are high fade, bit off the top, and I do just mess it up. This is it. This is why. My barber tells me I've got a cow's lick on both sides. Anyway, if I don't just have it like a bird's nest on top, it looks even worse, mate. Like I can't do your normal haircuts apart from like a grade on top. But that only works when I'm dyed down. Otherwise, I just look like a football with teeth. Any regrets this year? I went Ibiza twice. We should have probably gone 3 times. But in all seriousness, 0 to be fair. Like beaming in. It's been a very good year and I'm very grateful for it. Advice for starting coaching. I'm going to give you some very generic advice and I do apologise, but it is quite hard. I would strongly recommend... What's going on with the lighting, mate? Anyway, I strongly recommend putting yourself out there on multiple platforms, because at the end of the day, the only thing that separates coaches are them as people. Have I worded that right? I feel like I have. What I'm trying to get at is we all offer the same thing. There will be communication throughout the week on something like WhatsApp, data collection through an app or Google Sheets, and a weekly check-in. Everyone's doing the same thing, so that all that separates us is us and our personality. So put yourself out there and don't put on an act, because you can't keep up an act for a decade, mate, okay? Because coaching should be a long-term thing. So put yourself out there, your true self, put results out there when you get them and show that you can consistently get results. And then I'd say document your own process so you can show you really do walk the walk. And over time, your business will grow. And of course, mention you are coaching. Don't cold DM, just mention you do coaching. And over time, it will grow. It's a bit of a weird one because everyone progresses at different rates, just like everything in life. But I've seen coaches start and within a year, to the moon, mate, massive client bases, making bank. I've seen other people absolutely grind away for like 5+ years and like they're now getting busy. So when you are in this process, I would say compare your content and compare your service so it can be competitive. I think that's super important. But don't compare your rate of growth because you'll probably have a pretty miserable time doing that, mate. I think in the early stage of the coaching, it should just be about building your service, building your reputation, putting out results and enjoying it. I think one of the most enjoyable things, to be fair, is, of course, getting people to where they want to be, but also building relationships. It's a very cool thing. So even though at the end of the day it is a business, you need to keep the lights on, you need to put food on your table. Don't be too pushy with it in that way. Really focus on the service, focus on building relationships, getting results, and it should progress from there. What's that in the background of your talking videos? I've got a plan and I've got a Porsche. It's a bit of a whopper, mate, I must admit. I love this thing. Beauty. I think I bought it like 3 years ago, to be fair. Downside to this, it's an absolute dust collector. Does my head in. Me and the missus are You could probably say clean freaks. We'll keep things very minimal and make sure things are clean, nothing on surfaces. Got to make sure your dusting's done, your hoovering's done, everything's pristine. I think it's important, clean environment, clear mind. However, this thing is a dust collector, and I will dust it, I know. Alpha male activity, that. And then like the next day, mate, it's like that. But yeah, Porsche G3 RS, Lego Technic, if you're wondering. I should have kept it in the box, mate, because they don't make them anymore. When I checked on eBay, they go for a lot, but to be fair, I like it. I think it looks cool. Would rather have the real one, but I'll settle for this. We're gonna do 2 more questions, because I'm on a tight timeline, because I've got to edit this, get this out, and get festive as well, mate. So, next question, well, second to last question, penultimate. Is that the right word? I think it is. Best result this year. Oof. Gotta have a drink before this one. Got to approach this a bit differently, because when it comes down to coaching the lads on the team, of course it's not a competition at all. The goal is to get them to where they want to be. But I'm giving an answer to this one because it always gets the biggest reaction when I post it, and it is Joe Lashley's transformation. 74 pounds down. I think the crazy thing about this is the time frame. This was done in a total of, I think, 19 weeks. I will fact check it. It's like 19, 20 weeks, 74 pounds down. Then held maintenance, addressed that fatigue, built calories back up. But as you can see, pretty wild. On the topic of a look, a physique, best shape you've been in this year. Of course, it's when I'm dialed down. It's never going to be when I'm peak bloat lord, but it was before Ibiza 1.0. I put it up on screen. I think this was like a day before we flew out, but 181 here. Off-season prior was 205. I knew 181 wouldn't shift for like 3 weeks, but the look kept getting better, so we were very happy. But I'm gonna wrap it up there. Remember to like, subscribe, comment if you're feeling dangerous. Have a fantastic Christmas. Make sure to eat plenty and drink plenty, and I'll speak to you soon.